Democratic leaders are finally pushing back aggressively. They seem to be getting their footing now. We're seeing Democrats also go into areas that are like +5 or +10 Republican districts that have voted for Trump before. And they're speaking to people who are pissed off because their Medicaid's being taken away. They're seeing veterans get fired and having their services taken away. They're seeing the cruelty with which Elon Musk and Trump and Doge are gutting the federal government, are propping up the billionaire oligarchs. Let me show you some Democrat leaders who are standing up and getting standing ovations doing so as well. Talking about Democrats going on Fox, Democrats going into Trump districts. Take a look at this. Democratic Congress member Tom Suozzi over the weekend got a huge standing ovation in a Trump +5 congressional district at Hofstra University in Hempstead when he was talking about Trump's despicable behavior in the Oval Office with Zelenskyy. Let's play this clip.
Listen, everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like, I'm Mr. Let's work together, let's try and find common ground. And what happened in the White House yesterday, I was so pissed off. I wanted you to get that out of your system.
Next, I want to show you Democratic Congress member Garcia, who goes on Fox, calls out Trump on Fox in enemy territory. Here, watch this.
A very shameful display for all that to happen in the Oval Office, in front of the world and all of our allies who we need to stop Russia. And I think what honestly is most disgraceful is that throughout that conversation, that the president could not be clear that Putin is a danger to Europe, to Ukraine, and to the United States. Putin is an authoritarian dictator, and we need to call it like it is. And to embarrass Zelenskyy, who is taking Putin on right now, to belittle him, an ally, and our efforts in Ukraine,
let me just,
I think it's a mistake.
Now take a look at the interview I did with Senator Schiff. This was a powerful moment. Let's play it.
Well, to the people of America, I want to just say this is not who we are. This is not who we are. We don't bully an ally. We don't take the side of a dictator. We don't ignore the long and important role that we have played in defending democracy. That is not who we are. We're just not what we saw displayed by the President of the United States today. And I think we all have a role to play right now in the defense, not just of Ukraine, but of what the country stands for, of our values. I would say to our allies around the world, what they witnessed too might be Donald Trump, but it is not America. And we'll have to get through this period. We'll have to struggle through this period. We'll have to be more reliant. When I say we, the freedom-loving people of the world, are going to have to be more reliant on other leaders in the world because we cannot rely on this president. And it's a terrible way to feel about a president of the United States, but the shameful display we had today is so antithetical to everything that our country has stood for, and I hope it is never repeated.
Here's Governor Josh Shapiro. Let's play this clip.
When Donald Trump took the oath of office, he took the oath of office to be president of the United States and be the leader of the free world, as presidents have been for many generations, stretching back even before Ronald Reagan and the changes that came there. He went from being the leader of the free world to now, in just 1 month, wanting to be a leader of a single hemisphere and leaving China and Russia in charge of the other hemispheres. That is deeply, deeply dangerous for America's national security interests. It is deeply troubling to see a president retreat in the face of Vladimir Putin and President Xi. We need a president who's going to stand up for America's interests, who wants to be the leader of the free world. He has demonstrated nothing but weakness when it comes to national security over the course of his first month in office. Ben, we need to talk about this more. America's national security is at risk as a result of these decisions the president has made.
Next up, you have Senator Chris Murphy, who's been doing, I think, a good job pushing back against the Trump regime. Let's play it.
What's your reaction to what you just heard from the president's national security advisor? Do you think there's hope of salvaging this relationship with Ukraine?
So it is absolutely shameful what is happening right now. The White House has become an arm of the Kremlin. Every single day, you hear from the national security advisor, from the president of the United States, from his entire national security team, Kremlin talking points. For the last week, the White House has been pretending as if Ukraine started this war. That's essentially saying that Poland invaded Germany at the beginning of World War II. There are still facts in this world. And the fact is this: Vladimir Putin is a brutal dictator. Russia started this war. And the entire pretext for that meeting yesterday was an attempt to rewrite history in order to sign a deal with Putin that hands Putin Ukraine. That is disastrous for U.S. national security. That means that China will be on the march. Putin may not stop. America may be at war with a nuclear power. And for what? For what? It appears as if America is trying to align itself with dictators, that Donald Trump wants us to have our closest relationships with despots all around the world, because that makes it easier for him to transition America into a kleptocratic oligarchy where Elon Musk and Donald Trump rule and steal from the American people. If we were allied with democracies, that would be harder. But if the United States' closest partner is Russia, then it makes it a lot easier for Donald Trump, Elon, and their billionaire pals to steal from the American people, to steal our data, to steal our Medicare, to steal our Medicaid in order to enrich themselves.
I didn't realize how bad the air was in my home until my baby girl started coughing. It was a big wake-up call. And you know, here in Los Angeles, with everything that went down, we need clean air in our home. This podcast is sponsored by Filter Easy. Look, it's 2025. When was the last time you changed your air filters? Many homeowners can't even answer that question, or they don't have the time, or they can't find the right size filters. Filter Easy makes changing your air filter effortless. The Filter Easy subscription service delivers the right filters to your door right when you need them. Finally, a subscription service I actually wanted to subscribe to. Filter Easy filters are proudly made with love in the great state of North Carolina, with millions of filtered shipped. Filter Easy is the #1 home air filter subscription service in the world. My filter arrived the other day. It's amazing. No more guessing sizes, running out of filters. I just say, my Filter Easy, it's here. Let's go. No more living with dirty air. The delivery is my reminder. You change your filters. It sounds silly, but these things are just cool. Filter Easy's filters snap into place when you open your box, and it's way stronger than the cardboard filters you buy at the store. I've got enough to worry about, so Filter Easy checks one thing off my list for good. I'll never forget to change my filters again. So, almost 80% of people don't change their filters on time, including me. With Filter Easy, I'll never forget again. Filter Easy Magic Filters offer improved airflow, which means cheaper heating and cooling bills. I think you're going to love it. So here's what you got to do. Filter Easy takes care of your air filters so you have time to take care of everything else. Head to filtereasy.com/Meidas and use code Meidas for 50% off your first order plus free shipping forever. Once again, that's filtereasy.com/Meidas for 50% off your first order plus free shipping forever. And make sure you use our promo code Meidas so they know we sent you. Thanks, Filter Easy. There's Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Let's play it.
And unfortunately, he decided that he wanted to talk about his clothes. Now, maybe this is because Trump never wanted to go serve his country. And right now, the only service that he's giving to us is driving our country apart. But I'm sorry, when you're at war, you're not worried about your outfit. That is what we call a privilege, number one. Number two, to say, oh, what can you afford? Well, if he was walking around in the fanciest suits, I'm sure that they would accuse him of taking our dollars and spending it on his wardrobe and being more concerned about that. Listen, this is a no-win situation when you're walking in with someone who has decided that he is going to align himself with a dictating thug.
Here's Congresswoman Crockett again.
And when we decided that we wanted to subpoena him to come in, him being Elon, you know who didn't even want to debate it? The Republicans. Not only did they shut it down, but they wouldn't allow us to engage in debate because they really don't have an explanation for why we would have an entire subcommittee that is supposed to sit atop this organization or whatever it is, because it's not really an organization, and they don't want to bring in the guy that is the face of it.
Can I ask you, is it also a little bit because they're afraid to go up against Elon Musk and Donald Trump?
Well, I don't know if they're afraid. I just think they're wusses. I mean, you know, I don't really know what it is, but right now, one of the things that the former governor just said, he talked about people basically giving up their rights and giving up their duties. I've said that they've castrated their constitutional duties. You've got Republicans that will only move, or as we used to say, jump whenever Donald Trump says jump or Elon says jump, and it's usually how high, right? Like, that's what they're doing. They are not listening to their constituents.
Now, can we just contrast for a moment what you're seeing there with which MAGA Republican Congress member should we do? Let's do a clip of Ronnie Jackson, MAGA Republican Congress member from Amarillo, Texas. Here's what he has to say about Zelenskyy. Here, let's play it.
Don't you ever come back to this country again and disrespect our country, disrespect the Oval Office, and disrespect my president the way you did today. After all that we've done for you, your unbelievable sense of entitlement is disgusting to me, and it's disgusting to most Americans in this country. As far as I'm concerned, you can go home and never come back.
Now, contrast Ronnie Jackson to Democratic Congress member Levin. Let's play this clip right here from, this is Mike Levin from California. Let's play it.
Comparing our alliance with Stalin during World War II to Trump's support for Putin is a really bad take, and here's why. In World War II, we partnered with Stalin out of necessity to defeat Hitler. We didn't share values, we didn't admire Stalin, and when the war ended, we immediately pivoted to containing his authoritarian regime in the Cold War. What Trump is doing with Putin isn't about necessity, it's about admiration. Trump has repeatedly praised Putin's leadership, echoed his propaganda, and undermined our own intelligence and military. There's no global emergency forcing Trump to align with Putin. It's a choice, and it's a choice that betrays everything the greatest generation fought for. Putin is attacking democracy, and our job, just like in World War II, is to stand up to that, not cheer him on.
Let me show you one more clip right now of Senator Chris Murphy. Powerful moment right here where he said, look, I shouldn't have supported Marco Rubio. I thought Rubio would act normal. Rubio clearly isn't acting normal. Here, play this clip.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio was there. He didn't participate in the conversation, but he was with the National Security Advisor when they asked Zelenskyy to leave the White House after that blow-up. And he has been very supportive of what happened in that meeting. You voted to approve his nomination to be Secretary of State. You still think you made the right choice?
Nope, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. I think a lot of us thought that Marco Rubio was going to stand up to Donald Trump on an issue like this, that when Donald Trump decided to align America with dictatorships, again, in order to make it easier for him to steal from the American people, to turn America into an illiberal democracy in which, just like Russia, the oligarchs, the economically powerful people in America rule and the rest of us just feed the powerful. I thought when Donald Trump decided to do that, when Donald Trump would come to him and say, help me move America closer to Russia and to Russian values, Marco Rubio would stand up to him. Marco Rubio has not, and that's been a great disappointment to many of his former colleagues in the Senate.
You have been.
Just so we can see, too, what Rubio said this weekend. Rubio attacked Zelenskyy this weekend because he said Zelenskyy was too busy Ukraine-splaining Ukraine to Donald Trump. He said, you can't Ukraine-splain. Trump knows more about Ukraine than Zelenskyy. This is what Marco Rubio, America's Secretary of State, shameful I even have to say that, is saying. Play this clip.
Can we get them to a table to negotiate? That's our goal. Don't do anything to disrupt that. And that's what Zelenskyy did, unfortunately, is he found every opportunity to try to Ukraine-splain on every issue. Then he confronts the vice president. When the vice president says, the goal here is diplomacy, he immediately jumps in and challenges the vice president. Well, what kind of diplomacy? Well, so we all understand, okay, that Putin is not going to be an easy negotiator.
And by the way, while all of that was going on, what was Donald Trump doing? Donald Trump was doing some weirdo dance things in Mar-a-Lago as he was, again, destroying people's lives. Play this clip. And finally, I want to share this clip with you. This is Elon Musk from this weekend. Joe Rogan, I think, is trying to compete with our podcast. It's beating Joe Rogan's show right now. So Rogan had Elon on. And when Rogan had Elon on, Elon called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. And Elon then also posted that we need to get out of NATO. So just these are their own words. So when people say, oh, you're just fear mongering and saying they're going for your Social Security. Well, we all agree that Elon is running the government right now. I mean, Trump Trump puts emails, Elon this, Elon that. I'm telling Elon. And Elon's saying Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. Here, play this clip.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying you're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay. There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations. So basically, people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
And then let me just reinforce what Elon said there with, I'll show you Mike Johnson's interview from this weekend, where Mike Johnson says that, there's all this fraud in Social Security, which, by the way, there isn't really all this fraud. I mean, I think it's less than 1%, which needs to be addressed, but you don't address it by getting rid of your FBI agents and your Department of Justice and replacing your FBI with UFC fighters, which is what the plan is from Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, whatever the guy's name is. But here's MAGA Mike Johnson saying it. Let's play it.
It's worth noting the Social Security Administration's internal watchdog found that less than 1% of benefit payments were improper. I do want to get to my final question, though, which is about the shutdown.
Don't believe it. Hey, don't believe it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so there you have it. I mean, it's pretty clear what their agenda is it not? That's why people are pissed. Democrats need to keep speaking loudly about what's going on. Americans want fighters right now. Americans want people who are fearless right now. So be fearless, be a fighter. Don't hold back. Go into red districts. Go into purple districts. Speak to the American people. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.